Hi everyone, this is Theo from travelogue.com. Today I'm going to show you a sketchbook tour of all my sketches that I have drawn during my Tokyo trip. This is the sketchbook that I brought along in Tokyo. This is made by Arkademie. It's made by a friend. I'm going to put out a separate review for this sketchbook. Today I just want to show you all the sketches in it because I have a feeling that this video is going to be very long. For most of my travelogue sketchbooks, I will dedicate 2 pages to drawing all the things that I bring along. So this is my packing list. On this page, these are the art supplies, the tools for drawing, and on this page, the other things like clothes, tech gadgets, camera, my phone, the tablet. The pen that I use to draw all these sketches is this Uniball Air. This is a fantastic pen. It's affordable. It can give you some line variation and the ink is waterproof when dry. I have a backup pen which is the Uniball Gel Stick. And this is the brush that I brought along, the Rosemary Sable brush, which is this. But the hair was quite blunt. And it's still quite blunt, so I actually have to buy a replacement brush while I was in Tokyo. And this is the portable palette. So this is my packing list. I find that this is quite useful because I use this as a reference to pack for my future trips. This was drawn on the flight from Kuala Lumpur to Haneda. The flight was 6 hours and it's quite a long flight. I took the AirAsia X flight. The pricing is surprisingly quite affordable. I paid around 500 Singapore dollars for a flight from Singapore to Tokyo. I think if there weren't any budget airlines, it would probably cost 1,000 and above, so I saved quite a lot. I went to Tokyo with my wife. This is the first sketch that I drew in Tokyo while traveling from the airport to my Airbnb apartment. So this was drawn on the train. It was crowded but not that crowded. I was able to stand and draw this sketch. So this is the neighborhood around my Airbnb apartment. I like how the lines from the power cables, how they go across the street, and how the lines they actually go into the vanishing point here, and the lines they are actually angled. So all these lines, they give texture and life to the scene. I really love to draw the neighborhood areas in Tokyo because every neighborhood is quite scenic and it's quite fun and challenging to draw. The most difficult part about drawing this scene is actually drawing the bicycles. Bicycles, they are quite detailed, so they are a bit difficult to draw since they are so complicated. But for buildings, it's as long as you get the vanishing point correct, you should be able to draw the neighborhood quite well. This was drawn at a restaurant called Tucano's Grill. It's located at Akihabara. This is the giant blue whale at the Museum of Nature and Science in Ueno Park. This is Ushima Shrine at Sumida Park. While I was drawing this, there were a lot of people walking past. They would bow facing the shrine. So people in Tokyo, they respect their temples and shrines. And this place is really quite clean and it's a very peaceful place, very quiet. I can hear birds chirping, making noises. After drawing the park, I walked along Sumida River. So this is the scene, looking at the river. This is the river cruise, and these are the buildings across the river. There are actually a lot of buildings. I'm not sure if I captured the density of the buildings accurately enough. The thing with drawing a lot of subjects, a lot of details in such a small sketchbook is sometimes you do have to simplify. It's impossible to fit all the details in such a small area. So simplification is important. So after drawing at the river, we went to this restaurant called Azuma. It's located at Nakamise. While waiting for the food, I drew this, and I did not want to stay too long in the restaurant. I did not want to affect their business, so I just drew a very quick pen and ink sketch, and I shall just leave this as it is and not color it. So this restaurant is located in front of Sensoji Temple. This is the temple. It's a very crowded place with lots of tourists, and right in front of this temple is a shopping street that sells a lot of souvenirs and food, things like biscuits, where you can actually buy and bring back to your country. This temple was built in AD 645, so it's more than 1,300 years old, and it's very well maintained. This temple is actually quite huge. Now when I draw this on this A5 sketchbook, it feels a bit small. If I can draw this on a larger sketchbook, maybe it would look a bit more majestic. This is Ameoko, located at Ueno station. I sat on my small stool at this location and drew looking at these shopping streets. So there were a lot of people. It's very crowded. It's a rather complicated scene as well. I drew this very quick because the sun was coming out from this side to this side, so after I finished the line art, I had the sun coming down on me, so I had to paint the watercolors very quickly. Let me just zoom in to let you see the details. So this is how I draw people. They are usually just circles with triangle bodies below and two W's for the legs. This was drawn at the National Museum of Nature and Science. This is a train. So on the right side of the museum is this train, and on the other side, that's the wheel that you saw earlier. So this is on the left side of the building. This is actually the building, and this is the right side of the building. I'm not sure if I did a good job painting the shadows. It's a bit difficult to paint all the shadow areas because I wanted to wait for the paint to dry before I layer on, so that I can get the sharp edges, but the paint did not dry as fast as I wanted to. So some of the edges are a bit soft and it's a bit difficult to see the contrast. I did not use a lot of layering for this particular sketch, maybe 2 to 3 layers, that's all. This was drawn perhaps at 5 p.m. It was quite late and the museum was closing, so I wasn't able to actually go into the museum compound to draw this. I was standing outside the gate overlooking the two museums. As the sun was setting, I had to draw this very quickly and color it very quickly as well. And after that we went for dinner. This was drawn at the restaurant. So the table was really tiny. I did not have any space to put any of my drawing supplies. Anyway, I did not have the time to color this, so I'm just going to leave this in black and white. So you can see some of the lines here, they overlap. While drawing halfway, I was told to move to a table by the side, so that's why I finished drawing this part. But this part, since my viewing angle has changed, I have to overlap here. And this is my wife, Judy. On the next day, I went to Shinjuku to look for the art store called Seikaido. If you haven't watched my Tokyo travelogue videos, I do recommend you check them out. I'll put the videos in the video description below. There are 7 days of travelogue videos. Those are actually some of my best travelogue videos that I have ever made. So this was drawn at Shinjuku. I was standing and drawing this scene. Since I was standing, my eye level is the same as all the eye level of these people here. You can see some mistakes. I should have drawn this person first before I drew the zebra crossing. Now, Tokyo is a very crowded place. There are always people walking on the busy streets. So this is actually quite a good training ground if you want to learn how to draw people. This was also drawn at Shinjuku. So these are actually very tall buildings, and what got my attention were the advertising signboards that were beside the tall buildings. So they go all the way up, and I knew I have to draw this because it's not something that I see in Singapore. All these words, all the lines, you see this red ink, and this is blue ink, green ink. All these were drawn when I was back home using the Uniball Signal gel sticks. They come in different colors, and the ink is supposed to be pigmented, so they are waterproof. I like to use those pens to draw in little details like this, because this kind of details, they are difficult to draw with even small watercolor brushes. So this is a very crowded street as well. So this is Shinjuku. As I tried to find my way to the train station, I discovered a street food alley. So on this alley, on the left and right side, there were a lot of colorful stalls, so I went in to check it out. And this alley actually leads to this shrine called Hanazono Shrine. So I sat beside a stall that is closed and sit down on a chair that was there and sketched this scene. On the next day, I visited Tsukiji fish market. There is the inner market and the outer market. I wasn't able to get into the inner market to see how they auction off the fish, so I had to draw outside. And for this particular sketch, I actually found a very good seat to sit down in the shade to draw, and I was able to complete this in perhaps 2 hours. So this is probably the most crowded place that I have been to. You can see all these people, they go all, this is actually a street that goes all the way to the back, and it's as crowded as you can see right here. This is a police officer who is trying to direct the traffic. He has to let the cars go through because there are so many people. He actually needs to tell people to move aside. And after that, we went for lunch at this restaurant. We had some bento. Bento is their set lunch with rice, meat, vegetables, soup. And this is Tokyo Station, one of their bigger train stations. I'm not sure when this was built, but it was built quite long ago. And there is this big open area in front. I think I messed up drawing this section here. This is actually some sort of square, but I want to point out my mistake here. I actually drew the road extending into the square, so it looks a bit weird right now. And there were a lot of people walking in front of the station. It's a very beautiful train station that you should definitely go to. I drew this from the rooftop garden of this building called Kitte, that's Kitte, which is located just beside the train station. And this is the back of the train station. So this is the front, and the back here is this place. So I'm still drawing this from the rooftop garden. It's a very complicated sketch to draw because there are a lot of train lines here. I think I read somewhere that there are 16 train lines. So I think I lost count at how many lines I drew. But if you have the time, if you want some challenge, you can definitely draw complicated scenes like this to challenge yourself. On the next day, I went out with some sketches from the Urban Sketches Japan group. Actually, there were only 2 people, Asuko and Kumi, and my friend Jenny from Singapore. So I sketched with 3 people that day at this open air antiques market just outside of Tokyo International Forum. So this is like some pop-up fair where people bring their old items to sell, antiques, accessories, ornaments. And in the afternoon I went to the East Gardens. This is Seimo Nishi Bridge. If you want to draw this bridge, the best time is to do so in the morning when the sun is actually on my side looking at the bridge. Right now it's actually backlit, so it's quite difficult to draw. Not to mention that the sun is actually, sunlight is actually coming towards you, so it's very bright and glaring. The East Gardens was partially closed that day because I was there quite late, so I wasn't able to check out the whole garden. So in the end I have to leave, and I went back to Tokyo Station, which is just beside, or it's quite close to the gardens. So I drew another sketch of Tokyo Station, this time from the ground floor. So this is the Kitte building. I was drawing this on the other day on the rooftop garden here. The best time to draw this is during the sunset, when the sun is actually pointing towards the station, and the whole station is glowing in orange light. So that's very beautiful. This is the last day. I went to check out Tokyo Tower. So this is Tokyo Tower in the background. I wanted to draw the Tokyo Tower in relation to all the city buildings, and I managed to find a good spot at a cafe just beside this building here. So I was sitting somewhere here looking at the tower and drawing this. And this is Meiji Shrine, where I met a fellow sketcher named Jenny. You have to watch the video because it's such a coincidence to meet her. She was in Singapore just 1 year ago, and I did not know that she was Jenny from the earlier video, but now that I have met her here, all the memories, it comes back. So that's pretty cool, and it's really a small world. Such a coincidence to meet her. The perspective for this temple is a bit off. This roof, it actually should be like this. So this part should be cropped off. I think I tried to fit this whole part into this page. That's why I move this line down a bit, but it looks a bit weird right now. And this is the last sketch that I drew in Tokyo. I drew this on the train again from my station, which is Iriya Station, to the airport station, which is Haneda Airport. So I managed to get a good corner seat to draw this. The train is, well, the train was crowded, but it's not that crowded. Sometimes the train can be so crowded that it's impossible to board, but I think Japanese people, they are actually quite comfortable with squeezing even onto crowded trains. I've seen them done that a few times. So I still have a few more pages in this sketchbook. Let's see how many pages I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 pages. I'm going to be drawing some more sketches on these pages using reference photo. I will maybe create some tutorials for that. So that's all for this sketchbook tour. I really enjoyed myself in Tokyo. I love sketching there. There are so many things to see, so many things to sketch. I hope to go back there again, to go back to Tokyo and also other places in Japan. Now, if you want to see the sketches, the scanned sketches, I will post them on my blog. You can just check out the links in the video description below. And remember, I will create the full detailed review for this particular sketchbook maybe in a few days time, so stay tuned for that as well. Thanks for watching today. I hope you enjoyed this video. See you in the next one. Bye.